Do you like conlanging? Do you like board games? Have you ever wondered what would happen if you combined the two? No? Well, too late. Rishayahu Andarya is my entry for Agmar Schwar's Cursed Conlang Circus. The name of the language means Battle of the Vowels, and I assure you, they will be battling and there will be vowels, as well as battling between said vowels. It's an amalgamation of a language and a board game. Here are the consonants of the language. Note that the affricates ch and j are considered as one consonant each and not consonant clusters. This will be important later when we talk about syllable structure. There also exists two syllabic nasals, m and n. These are the root vowels of the language. Due to reasons we'll talk about later, the language's vowels are actually every vowel listed in the IPA, but these vowels are what is used when creating words. Syllables of the language can look anything like so. Remember, however, that ch and j are considered as one consonant each, so an initial cluster like chl is permitted. Some clusters are, however, not permitted, but we'll talk about that later. The best way to describe the grammar of the language is to walk you through how one would translate a sentence. Firstly, retroactively know what cases and other modifiers exist, so you know any obsolete words in the sentence so you can remove them. Then, translate each word with a word in a dictionary. Next, order the words correctly. The word order of the language is ABC, meaning words ordered alphabetically after this here alphabet, derived from the amount of footnotes in the notes section of the Sounds Wikipedia article as of the 23rd hour of the 12th of August Greenwich Mean Time. The syllabic nasals are simply put behind the non-syllabic counterparts, and the null morpheme simply means that a word like an would be put before a word like a. This word order will mess up everything, so you'll need to apply the correct modifiers to each word. Here is a list of all the noun cases. And by all, I mean all, as taken from this Wikipedia article, minus some I didn't really understand, plus some I made up. Make a note of the modified case. Appending the modified modifier, as well as a numeral to a noun, will link it to an adjective with the corresponding numeral. If only one pair of modifiers exists, no numeral is needed. Speaking of adjectives, they have the applied modifiers. Adjectives also have, as mentioned, a modifier. The same system of linking applies to verbs and adverbs as well. When applying affixes, certain clusters will change. These are the same clusters that are not permitted in root words. Also, any syllabic nasals next to a vowel will simply turn to its non-syllabic counterpart, and if the nasal is stressed, the vowel takes the stress and the nasal is desyllabitized. In the case of multiple suffixes, not just multiple affixes in general, any word final vowels are lost except if that were to create a word final consonant cluster, or if the suffix consists of only a vowel. Now remember that ch and j are not considered clusters and are permitted at the end of a word. Now, the amount of cases does mean that words get pretty long, as for say, this word here, which I'm not going to pronounce yet. Finally, we're done! Except I did promise some battling. Well, guess it's time for vowel disharmony. Any vowels which are defeated in combat, and trust me, I will explain all that later, must change their frontness, height and grounding in order to not match with the defeater. If they match in frontness, the loser moves one step to the left, looping around if it crosses the edge. If they match in height, the loser moves down, again looping around, and if they match in rounding, the rounding is simply switched. Now let's actually talk about the combat. Go through each word in the sentence. If it has more than one vowel, combat will commence. If not, skip it and move on to the next word. Every vowel is divided into one of two teams, with every odd vowel belonging to the same team and every even vowel belonging to the same team. Of course, if no vowels share any qualities, combat can be skipped. Gather the corresponding card for each vowel and consonant in the word. The consonants will explain themselves what they do, but the vowels are more complicated and require some explanation to their symbols and numbers. This is the name of the vowel. Here's the element, hit points, armor, speed, range, melee attack stat, range attack stat, battleship attack stat, and ability. One of the attack stats will also have an attached ability, which is activated during that specific type of combat. While E has its ability attached to its ranged combat, A has it attached to its battleship combat, and the schwa to its melee combat. I'll talk about element and armor later, but first I'll talk about the basics of combat. A match will last for up to 8 rounds. Each round consists of 3 phases. The first phase is the movement phase. During the movement phase, roll a d6 as 6-sided die for each vowel, beginning with the first vowel in the word and working your way through the word to the last vowel. For each roll, draw so many movement cards as the dice shows. The movement cards may at times seem a bit ambiguous and are very much up to interpretation. Call it dialects if you will. Next is the battle phase, the highlight. First, check the range. One range is equal to 60 pixels on the map. If no vowels are in range of each other, then of course no combat will take place. If 2 vowels are in range of each other, they engage in combat with each other. There are 3 different types of combat. Melee combat occurs when 2 vowels are in the same or neighboring squares. In melee combat, the fastest vowel attacks first. Attacks also have increased strength when attacking against vowels with weaker elements according to this here hierarchy. If a vowel has range and line of sight to another vowel, it will engage in range combat with that vowel. Since different vowels can have different ranges, it is possible for a vowel to be attacked without being able to attack itself. In range combat, the fastest vowel attacks first. Battleship combat is much like range combat, except the vowels lack line of sight to each other. Vowels will also attack at the exact same time. The last phase is the resource phase. During this phase, any vowel standing on a resource square draws a resource card. Here is the map. These are the resource squares. Here is the starting square for the odd vowels, the starting square for the even vowels, obstacles which block line of sight, and connections. Vowels may only move between squares with a connection. Now let's talk about the writing system. The system makes use of dice and coins, something fairly prominent in this language already. Each consonant uses 1 coin and 2 d8s. If the coin shows heads, the consonant is voiced, otherwise it is voiceless. The first d8 shows the place of articulation and the second d8 manner of articulation, with each side of the dice corresponding to 1 row or column. For the syllabic nasals, a coin standing on its side is added. For vowels, 2 coins are used and 1 d6. The first coin denotes roundness, where heads is rounded and tails is unrounded. The d6 shows the height. In the IPA, there does however only exist 7 different heights. Thus, for mid, the dice is completely omitted. The second coin denotes backness, heads for front, tails for back, and the coin is omitted for central. Certain vowels do not have a specified rounding, and for those vowels, the coin which denotes rounding can be omitted. If you were to follow these rules, the schwa wouldn't be written out, and so a standing coin is used for it instead. After each letter, a line break occurs, and after each word, you move on to the next column. Punctuations look like so. The language's numbers are in base 6. When writing a number, place a dice in the correct place. The number on the dice represents the same number as it shows, the exception being 6, which represents 0. After all that, you may get something which sounds like this. Let's see if I can do it the first try. Ili vusrasai ili raxrajumke rducher ikvingela sasai smsaila pangajumke smjunke. Hyseröse övröjugul ljusunge bösenböse hlal. Mittingstrumke sen röthlövglvsunge sujumke urlenjumke, huh? Wow, look at that. I actually did it first try. No, I didn't. No, I definitely didn't. Thank you so much for watching. Before you go, I would just like to put up here on the screen a few small things I forgot to mention earlier, but which I will not add at the appropriate times because I'm too lazy. Sorry. I would also like to direct you to the description where you will be able to find a link to a folder with all the cards. I spent a lot of time on the artwork, and since the whole thing with this language is the combat, it wouldn't be too much to ask that you check out some of the cards. I really hope I didn't forget to talk about anything that is really important to the language, or just forgetting to make something for the language in general. This is actually the second time I record this part, because the first time I finished up the video and then realized I'd completely forgotten about making a writing system. Either way, goodbye for now, or as you would say in this language, every forgotten feature is a feature.